Hello everyone, and welcome to the October edition of our traditional webinar, Ask Julie Anything. As you know, I am Mariana Nadai, and I'll be your host today.
Who am
Oh,
I?
I forgot who I am. Oh my God. And today, our co-owner and formulator, Julianne Lee, will answer all your questions about your beloved fur friend. Any kind of question you can ask us today, so don't be shy and ask Julie anything. And before we start, as always, I want to remind you all about some housekeeping rules. Please, if you can switch your chat to everyone so we can all join in the conversations. Use the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask your questions, and your questions will be answered in order, first come, first serve, and we will try our best to go through all of them tonight. So please be gentle with us, and if we can't answer your question tonight, at the end I'll tell you what you can do, how we can still help you guys. And the most important thing of all, I also want to remind you that this session provides a judgment-free space with only the health and happiness of our animals and the planet being our core goal. um that's it. So without further ado, I would call you Julianne Lee if you want to start saying a few words, or if we can jump into the questions. I don't
Yeah, hi everybody. While you were introducing and speaking, I just took a fast look at some of the questions, and there's a lot. So I think we should, other than me saying hi and really nice to see everybody, well, not see everybody. Thank you for everybody for being here. I'm seeing BC, Chicago, out in New York, Vancouver. Lots of places, lots of people from Manitoba, Australia, from all over the place. That's super cool.
know. It
So
is.
why don't we just jump into the questions? And there's something going on again with my mouse that it's not
Okay.
let. Oh yeah, there we go. My mouse isn't working to bring things up and down, but that's okay because it's my button's working, so that's good.
Okay. So I'm starting here. Anonymous attendee. That's the first question that you can see too.
Yep.
Okay, so my cat has enlarged lymph nodes in her neck, which I took her to the vet for. They took a sample, and that was the result, enlarged lymph nodes. My vet said blood work didn't show any inflammation. A few days later,
My
uh,
cat has
and my
more.
cat has more enlarged lymph nodes under her chin. They don't seem to bother her when I touch them. She's still eating, though seems more lethargic. Took her back to the vet, and she gave her an antibiotic shot just in case of infection, but said it might be lymphoma. Considering x-rays and our ultrasound. She's 12 though, so not sure I would do chemo anyway. Alternative is to put her on pred. I'm also like to consider other avenues, supplements or CBD. She on a raw diet, and I've been adding some liver tonic and a little gut suit.
Hmm, under her chin.
Yeah, around here. Right?
Hmm. Yeah, well, under her chin, or maybe like you do see them under their chin and on their chin, but they're not lymph nodes. They're usually swelling for more of a histamine response sometimes. Not sure if she's been checked for HIV or feline leukemia. She could maybe put something in the chat to see if they did check her for HIV or like feline or um any kind of like, chronic viral thing. So no test for HIV. Okay. Uh hmm. All right. Well, I mean, that would be something that I would be thinking about doing is doing more viral tests, like one for HIV and one for uh because it doesn't necessarily, you don't always necessarily see high white cell counts, especially if it's sort of a chronic, insidious thing. So, not sure if you would do chemo. That's a big one, right? So, if you didn't think that you would be doing chemo, there are lots of alternative things that you can do. You can be working with turkey tail and gut health and phytosynergy and chaga and all the medicinal mushrooms. Absolutely. Phytosynergy would be one that would be really good. Liver tonic, things that are going to try and decrease the inflammatory response from whatever's going on. I'm not sure. Can you put in your in the chat, please, this anonymous attendee? Could you please put in the chat whether you're in Canada or in the United States? Um, because I'm in the US. Okay, good. Because the other thing that you can be looking at is the positive immunity that we have now because it decreases pro-inflammatory cytokines. So if your cat is being triggered by more of an inflammatory response or reactive response, that can really help as well. The next thing, if she's a bit lethargic, she does actually have some time opened up. She was very busy and wasn't able to do any clients, but Andrea has actually opened up a little bit. So I would either reach out to a holistic vet or my friend Andrea Ring, who's a incredible homeopath. She would be something, Emily, maybe you could put her uh, contact in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I would check her for all the feline viruses, first and foremost. I guess I hope that they would be looking at her teeth, making sure that her teeth aren't, something's affecting her teeth with her glands. The fact that they're just in her neck and not, doesn't sound like they're anywhere else. It's a hard call. And it wouldn't matter whether you did chemo or not. It's starting her right away with homeopathic, with her homeopathically, getting chaga, phytosynergy, and liver tonic into her and a good probiotic would be something that I would do whether she's on chemo or not on chemo. So that would be something because what you want to do is if you are going to decide to do chemo, we all know that chemo affects the healthy cells pretty dramatically and in a negative way. You want her to be as strong as she can possibly be, even if you were to decide to do chemo. So I would get her on all those things like ASAP. Uh, if she's on a raw food and she's not wanting to eat that much, you could consider maybe cooking her food a little bit to entice her to eat, to continue to eat, to make sure that she's getting proper nutrients. That's the other reason that phytosynergy is really good because even if she can get a little tiny bit, it just goes right into the bloodstream and it has vitamins and minerals and amino acids and all kinds of stuff, and it's super easy to digest, even if they're sick. So that would be something that I would be doing.
Great, thanks, Julie.
Or feline leukemia too. They could be looking for feline leukemia as well.
Cindy is here asking, I have a 5-year-old neutered American Staffordshire Terrier and a 3-year-old intact American Bully. I started feeding them raw in March of this year. I also unfortunately allowed them to get vaccines in May. That started up their allergies. They just finished East Beast, and I have just started the healthy gut protocol for both of them. I'm working with a canine nutritionist recommended by our team. We are waiting on saliva test results to come back from NutriScan. In the meantime, they are eating Medical's healthy skin formula freeze dried. Raw recipe will be provided after saliva test comes back, although I just did the test for one of the dogs. Things are getting better. Question: assuming their red paws continue to get better, what would be a good supplement regimen to incorporate into their daily dietary routine and annual routine to keep allergies in check? Also, what is the biggest contributor for allergies showing up in pulse?
Yeah, well, let me just see what she's got. American Staffy and American Bully. That's a really hard call because that is where they tend to start right away, is in their feet. You see them a lot in their paws and interdigitals. So, um, once I don't know if it's Sarah Griffith. I don't know again if you're in Canada or Cindy, if you could put if you're in Canada or you're in the US in the chat would be awesome. Um, if you're doing the leaky gut protocol now, that's what it looks like you're doing, right? So let me just see vaccines in May, finished DSTPs and just started healthy gut protocol. So probably she's talking about leaky gut protocol. That's good. Once you're finished the leaky gut protocol, I would say the big things to focus on would be, if you're in the US, is their positive immunity for sure, because it helps to prevent and remove the pro-inflammatory cytokines, the toxins, all the things that leak into the bloodstream and create high immune reactions, like over immune reactions. So I would continue the liver tonic. They're in both of those protocols, but I would continue on, even though the protocols are finished. Continue using leaky gut. I would probably, with that breed, I think I would actually go into the wolf the wolf one. Do the wolf probiotic, liver tonic, phytosynergy, and positive immunity. If you're looking to what you should go on to next, those would be the four that I would go on to next, in all at the same time. And see with the food, because if it's Sarah that you're working with, she's amazing. She'll really help figure out a diet for you. And then those would be the four things, because it also, positive immunity also helps with the integrity of the gut lining. It also helps with environmental stuff. So things like antigens going into the bloodstream through the intestine, like pollens, grasses, environmental allergies or environmental sensitivities, as well as other things that they're walking through with grass, or any other toxins that are being inhaled or digested through food. But the big thing is the chronic inflammation piece. It helps to decrease the inflammatory response. So that is like super important. That breed, those breeds tend to have a very high histamine effect naturally. So keeping them on liver tonic and like the maximum dose of liver tonic possible, that really helps for their histamine to balance out their histamine. And phytosynergy is like massively strong with antioxidants, superoxide dismutase, that helps inflammation in the cells and helps with oxidative stress and the whole nine yards. And then obviously the probiotics, giving them the wolf strain, I think would be good with turkey tail because it's so immune based. So that's what I would do.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Julie. There's another big question here. Christina Higgs. And she's saying, "Hi, Julie. Would love to hear your wisdom regarding yeast and mold exposure. My 10-year-old raw-fed female JRT and I have been exposed to mold due to a roof leak. It's a small amount. It was actually hard to find evidence of besides the smell. It's impossible for us to go stay with someone else, unfortunately. There's literally nowhere to go, so we are trapped here. My girl has been fighting chronic yeast. We have been cycling through ABA protocols slash probiotics for 3 years, and she's currently experiencing a horrible flare-up. I'm assuming from the mold. Insanely itchy, red all over. She will wake me up in the night scratching, and she's totally miserable even with CBD. I will be using um, the ABA skin mask recipe next, and she's currently on the Wolf, liver tonic, and positive immunity. Can I do anything else to help while we wait and then afterwards to detox? Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Oh, that's terrible. You should be taking the positive immunity as well. Anything that helps with detoxification with that kind of mold, because that kind of mold really isn't the same as, like yeast and things like that. One thing I would add to the Yeasty Beast protocol or the to the protocol that you're using, the wolf liver tongue and positive immunity, I would actually start the something called the rebalancer, which is our vaccine homeopathic to help for the side effects of vaccine. But the reason that I say that is because thuya and silica are incredible for pushing things out of the body. That's why we use it for the vaccines. It's like removing toxins from the body. And thuya is really well known for mold issues, like helping people deal with mold issues. So you could be using Rebalancer and then also your go-to. And the reason your go-to is really good is because it decreases the inflammatory response. It calms the animal down. Like aconite is very, very, very good for like you were saying, like CBD isn't because she's just crazy, crazy itchy. So it could help a lot in concurrence with the CBD to calm her down. But the other thing that aconite and arnica does is it helps to support the body when it's being insulted. So having an allergy is different than a mold toxicity. When the body is affected in a negative way through a traumatic experience that they're having through ingesting or inhaling something that's incredibly toxic. It kind of goes into a trauma state, right? It goes into a state where it's trying to defend itself. It gets really tired. It gets very stressed because it's being bombarded with a toxin. So aconite and arnica can be really helpful for that, like helping the body go back into homeostasis. So I would add um, uh, the rebalancer and aconite and your go-to, and I would do both of them twice a day for, even up to 3 weeks and see how they are, and then let us know, and then we can let you know how much longer to keep doing it. But what you're doing is great. I don't know whether you've gotten I think the best kind of filter, like air filter for your house, that would be incredibly helpful using something like a charcoal with a charcoal filter, putting as many charcoal filters in your house, using cotton sheets. Don't try to get rid of anything that's in your house that's synthetic, because the synthetic fibers hold the mold in and allow the mold, even though if it doesn't smell or you don't see it, allows the mold to grow um, on like couches and rugs and things like that. So going out and purchasing even at like a Sally Ann store some like very inexpensive cotton sheets and try to cover things as much as you possibly can with cotton sheets so that the mold stays under the sheet and the body's not right on it, sleeping on it and smelling it, and then like change them almost every day even and put new sheets back on. It's a lot of laundry, but it is really helpful. Open your doors, open your windows as much as you possibly can so you're getting fresh air in. You could do a diffuser with specific, I think frankincense is a good one for mold, just like one drop of frankincense in a diffuser. be careful what you're using as far as I think we have, I don't know, Emily, you can speak to this. I don't know if we have a blog on which aromatherapies are really good for dogs, but we could ask Rita Hogan. You could reach out to a few aromatherapy specialists. But I know that frankincense can be very helpful with mold, and it's also very calming, and most animals tolerate it really well, even cats. But one drop's enough. No, not yet, but we can work on one. Okay. I have a tendency to make more work for myself no matter what. So, like,
Uh, Alexandra here is asking, can you please recommend a natural product to clear parasites and bacterial infections in cats eating raw food? What about a product for prevention? And she has another question. Can you please recommend a trusted food sensitivity and food allergy test for a cat available in the US or Canada?
okay, so the answer to your second one is Jean Dodd's saliva test is probably for me the most she's just an incredible veterinarian and has so much um so much experience and education in that realm. So you can do that. You can order the test online. She can, and then she sends you the results and talks to you about the results. So that's the one I would do for sure. Now I'm a little confused, Alexandra. Maybe you can um elaborate on that a little bit more about a natural product to clear parasites and bacteria in cats eating raw food. What about product for prevention? So, your cats have parasites and a bacterial infection, or are you worried that they're going to get parasites and a bacterial infection from eating raw food? I hope she's there because I don't even know how to really speak to this unless I know. Oh, that I worry that they will have parasites or infection from
By
the
eating, yeah.
from the raw food, right, Alexandra? Yes. Okay. So I can tell you it's the polar opposite. Um, a cat eating dry kibble or processed food has a so much more um predisposition to getting parasites and bacterial infections. And that's because a cat is a carnivore, 100% carnivore. And the way their system works naturally is by producing the proper enzymes to break down raw food. In those enzymes, there are natural antiparasitics. In that enzyme, there are natural antibacterial agents. Because if you really think about it, in the wild, uh, cats and, cougars, bobcats, lions, anything feline in the wild, or wolves or coyotes in the wild, they don't have antibiotics. Nobody's brushing their teeth and no one's stitching their wounds and no one's deworming them. And they are living much, much stronger, healthier lives in the wild than they do in captivity. So what happens, sorry, excuse me, what happens in the wild, I mean, in
Bless you.
captivity, thank you. What happens in captivity is when they eat dry food or when they eat kibble or when they eat processed food, it gets stuck in their teeth. They don't produce this, they don't ingest enough fluid so that their mouths, their bodies become more dehydrated, and they actually create more bacteria in their mouths. So a cat eating raw food, and I mean there's been so much research on this and so much study on this. An animal eating raw food does not have any cleaner or dirtier mouth than an animal eating processed food or canned food or dry food. And in fact, they have a much cleaner saliva so that if they're licking their wounds in the wild, that is what stops them from getting infection. So the only thing I could say was about products for prevention would be for your cats, for cats specifically, is our Felix Flora. So Felix Flora is a probiotic for cats, specifically with cat species specific probiotics in it. And all of our species specific probiotics have gone through rigorous testing to see if they work as a suppressant or uh, a means to eradicate, remove, stop the pathogenic bacteria. And Felix flora, Phytophthora, and our wolf probiotic has been proven to do that with Salmonella, E. coli, and Clostridium. And those are the number one things that you're concerned about with raw food. So anyone feeding raw food that's even remotely concerned, if they're using one of our, and I can say one of our because I don't know any other probiotics on the market that have been studied and researched to show that they suppress the and don't allow pathogen those three pathogenic bacterias to overconsume the space in the gut. So that would be something that you could easily do for prevention.
Great. Thanks, Julie. There's a question here. The next one from, let me see, from late, let me see. Oh, okay. So there's no end for the question. So I'll start reading. And if you are still here, please keep writing it. You can send me in private. Hello, happy fall you all from North Carolina. I hope you get my question this time. So here we are. In a nutshell, my precious Miss Palmer has killed us 6 years ago, and exactly 1 year ago, her ALT was 3,400. Why we don't know after ultrasounds, Cushing test, lepto test, and ICU. The vet said I needed a specialist. He couldn't find anything and said let's test in 6 months. After much research and diet change came across the doctor in Florida, he said it was her gut sludge in the
Bladder.
gallbladder. He said he could see it in the ultrasound,
Oh, ultrasound, yeah.
but then there's no, like, I couldn't find the rest of the question.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe we can um, jump and then
Hopefully she's around.
yeah,
You
she's
can,
around. She can
okay.
write down the rest and then we can come back. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, wait, she's
Wait,
here.
I'll say.
Like,
Okay,
wait,
and
I'll
just
send the
on that,
rest.
someone said, should we rotate your probiotics daily for their lifespan? Doesn't have to be daily. It can just be like you use one, finish the bottle, use the next one, finish the bottle, use the next one, finish the bottle. So you don't have to rotate them daily, but if you definitely rotation is 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 awesome.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna read the next one and then we can go back.
Okay.
Alicia is asking, my dog consistently has hiccups between his two-time a day meals that are 12 hours apart. I feed him a raw diet including meat, pumpkin, cucumbers, and blueberries. He just started the gut soothe with no change yet. Do you think it could be gastrointestinal related or something else?
Hmm. I wish I could ask these people like live questions because my question would be, did he do hiccups before you started feeding him cucumbers? Because cucumbers can actually elicit hiccups, but maybe he had hiccups before that. That's possible. The other thing you could try, I don't know if you've done that, but you could try feeding him 3 times a day. So making the two meals um, smaller and giving him an afternoon meal in between. you're not gonna see, probably wouldn't see a difference like immediately. It would probably take 3 or 4 days to see if that Henry, if that would do anything. Do you know what I mean? Would if that would alleviate any of the hiccuping. But could be gulping his food, he could be eating too fast. You could try, I'm not a huge fan of raising their bowls. Uh, feed them on don't feed them in a bowl, feed them on a totally flat plate. That can really help as well. Um, I don't know, pumpkin meat. I the majority of time that I see, it's usually a vegetable that's causing it. It's usually that they're eating too fast or they need more frequent meals or that they have their face in a bowl and they're gulping, right? They can't. Sometimes it's really great to see if you can get them to lie down and then give them their food on a completely flat plate. Because that is the most natural way a dog would eat, is if they kill the prey, they lie down usually to eat it. They don't often stand up during the whole thing. So maybe adjusting the way he's standing when you're feeding him, see if you can, like I said, see if you can get him to lie down, see if he'll eat it on a rug with a flat plate. I would try
Uh,
those things.
Alicia is saying here, Alicia, he had them his whole life.
Oh, his whole life.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he is a 6-year-old BMD, and they are worse now, the hiccups. I have always given him cucumber, and also it's at the end of the 12 hours.
At the end of the 12 hours. Okay. Someone wrote over here, look into the Mind Pet platters because they are really good. It just forces them to eat in a different, more of a natural state. I would try that, especially uh, if they've had them their whole life. But I would try digestive enzyme then, if especially if it's the last one. Maybe he's getting too much gas. Maybe he is. I don't know if they've ever tried doing 3 meals a day, even 4 meals a day. My dog gets 4 meals a day, and that's what works best for him. He gets fed breakfast, then he gets fed lunch, then he gets fed again around 6 o'clock, and then he gets another one just before we go to bed. And that keeps his stomach, is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. Should all dogs be like that? No, but he had major surgery as a puppy in his gut, and that's just what's best for him, right? So you can play around with different things like that, smaller meals, lying down, the mind plate's really good. And digestive enzymes could help tremendously if it's been his whole life.
Amazing, thanks. Hope is asking here, could you please talk about the relief protocol?
Sure. I wonder which ones. Now I have the kid. Look, that's crazy. How I have the hiccups. Just talking, I never get the hiccups. That's so weird. I'm having sympathy pains for Alicia's dog. Oh my God. So the relief protocol is we developed for animals that are very sensitive and are either they have very bad leaky gut along with really bad yeast. So sometimes when you do either one, like if you do just the leaky gut protocol, it revs the system up too much to heal too quickly, and then they get die-offs, right? And the same with the yeasty beast. Even though I formulated it to be like as die-off free as possible, some animals are still getting it. So the protocol sort of stimulates the body and focuses on the leaky gut and healing the gut. Then the next couple weeks, it focuses on, we do the phytosflora. So we do in between that in the next protocol we do phytospora, and it's got fulvic and humic acid, so it's like a detoxification process almost, along with giving the actual canine strain. So it gives them a breather of really doing focusing on anything and more of a detoxification process. Then they go on the yeast protocol, and then that sort of targets the yeast, and then they go back on phytospora to detoxify again. And the process of that and the idea behind that is that instead of focusing on one thing, like focusing just on leaky gut or focusing just on yeast, we're doing more of a high level, more gentle approach to slowly focus on all of the things that are going on at the same time. So it really is helpful. We find it really helpful for animals that are in massive distress, right? Like hot spots and chewing and licking and basically chewing their, skin off, and really, really, really inflamed. It seems to really balance them out so that the body is kind of moving through that healing process more gradually. Hope that answers her question. She can add something else to the chat, maybe, if I didn't, if that's not what she meant.
I have the full question from Leith from before. I'm gonna paste it here in the chat, Julie.
Okay. And who's it from?
Leith Green.
Okay, there we go. Yep.
But I'm pasting here just for you.
In the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have to break it down. Because I'm just doing that because it's a big one. So I'm pasting in parts. Yeah, so I'm reading it in a minute, guys. Just a second.
Okay, it's there.
It's a big one.
There? Where?
I message directly to you. Don't know if you
Oh,
can.
directly? Oh, hold
Yeah,
on.
the chat.
In the chat.
Direct messages.
How do I find those?
I can text you too if you like. Maybe it's easier.
Okay. Yeah, that would be easier because I'm getting confused.
Okay.
I see where it says she was on Baytril. Is that it? Yeah,
I text you.
that's
It's in
it.
your phone, probably.
She was on Baytril. Where'd it go? Frick, man, where did it go
Look
now?
to your phone. I messaged you.
Okay.
So I will read. Hello, happy fall from North Carolina. In a nutshell, my precious Miss Palmer rescued us 6 years ago, and exactly 1 year ago, her ALT was 3,400. Why? We don't know. Oh, there's some. Sorry. Why we don't know after ultrasounds, Cushing tests, lepto tests, and ICU. The vet said I needed a specialist. He couldn't find anything and said let's test in 6 months. After much research and diet change, came across the doctor in Florida. He said it was her gut sludge in the gallbladder. He said he could see it in the ultrasound. Um, he also introduced me to a passionate pet store owner who suggested I put Palmer on liver tonic. I did 1 month before her 6 months. Blood work with specialists and her levels were at 300. We continued to clean it, didn't continue tonic as it says not continually. Rested September 16th and she was at 185. Normal being 135. Yay. A small sidebar, her glands have always been an issue for the last 2 years, and she is 12 pounds Chihuahua Terrier mix. Our holistic doctor was a stickler for expressing her. Every 2 wheels, she was full of her annals. We had to plan everything. We went to be close to someone we trusted to express her. Finally, last Tuesday, the vet could tell she was empty. Palmer had an infection constantly July 6th until last week. Hence her being on antibiotics until today. Her annals were infused 2 times as well as 2 rounds of antibiotics. She was on a Baytril for 3 weeks. Monday, I ordered liver tonic and health gut enzyme. How do you suggest we use one or both products to cleanse her gut? And then I don't know the rest.
Okay. Well, good news about her liver. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, don't worry about first of all, I want to say don't worry about when an animal has an ALT of 3,400, you don't have to stop the liver tonic. You can definitely keep her on liver tonic long, like really, really long term. Don't worry about that at all. Um, and I would continue to do liver tonic if you've stopped now. 30 like 3,400, that is whatever that was, something like that, right? That's really high. So I would be proactive with the approach of definitely keeping her on liver tonic like a month on, a month off, a month on, a month off, because it also supports the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the kidneys liver tonic, not just the liver. And if she had sludge, that would be a really helpful thing. Now, because she's had Baytril for 3 weeks, and it's very interesting that now her anal glands are so bad. But I would healthy gut is a really good one, but you want to build her gut biome up as much as you can. So what I would recommend is rotating through all of our products, all of our probiotics. So healthy gut, and then go on to gut soothe, and then go on to phytosflora, then go on to wolf, then go on to soil and sea. You want to try and um really try and diversify all the different bacterias in her gut. 1,000,000%, especially with anal glands, because I just don't, sometimes anal glands there can be like specific staphylococcus and things like that, like special bacteria that you want the body's gut to be able to, like I said before, destroy a lot of that pathogenic bacteria. But one thing that I would really do, I mean, I don't know if your puppy's on raw. She's a small dog, but I would talk to your holistic vet about putting her on organic chicken necks. Um, because if you can get her stools to be lumpy, so instead of her stools being nice and firm, like nice and oval shaped or too soft or whatever, the Palmer is on Steve's raw. Okay, so I don't know what her poop looks like. So if her poop doesn't have sort of chunky bits in it, then that could potentially be a reason why her anal glands are always full, is because when they defecate, those chunky bits of bone, like not really hard bits, but some chunky bits or harder bits of the calcium that the body breaks down after they chew on a bone, helps to push or massage the anal glands as they're defecating. It's one of the number one reasons and best ways of not having to have your dog's anal glands become impacted. So I would ask your vet about that, if she would be okay starting off with maybe one chicken neck a week. If she's never had it, put a rubber glove on, hold the chicken neck for her so she doesn't eat it too quickly, but also move it around. She's a small dog, so the other the other thing that we want to be sure of is that her teeth stay good, because small dogs tend to have really bad teeth. And so you can let her chew on it and move it from side to side and pull it way, way back, so that when she's crunching on the neck, it's pulling all the plaque and tartar off the back parts of her teeth. So it's a very good proactive way to keep her teeth healthy, as well as her anal glands. So, speak to your vet. Definitely speak to your vet. Ask them if they think that that's okay. The other reason why you can be seeing something like that is a food reactivity. So some dogs will literally get impacted anal glands if they have like a protein sensitivity or a reactivity from meat. I don't know if she's on Steve's Raw. That's a really good brand, but I don't know if you're rotating, or it might be helpful right now to also talk to your vet and see if it might be helpful to keep her on one protein for haven't rotated. She's only been on white fish. So I don't know how long she's been on this white fish, but maybe for some reason when she had her flare up with her liver, if she may. So I don't know if that was before or after she was on her liver was affected. Was she on after her liver was affected, she went on whitefish. So May, June, July, August. You could talk to your vet, see about putting her on a different kind of protein and see if that also can help with her anal glands. But one thing that's really, really good for anal glands that we have, I'm going to go back to those two homeopathic remedies, and that is Rebalancer. Rebalancer works like crazy for anal glands. Works really, really well on anal glands. And so does your go-to. So your go-to takes the inflammation down, takes the swelling down so that the sphincter can be more pliable. One problem about squeezing anal glands all the time is that you can, even if you're very careful, you can eventually affect the sphincter so that the sphincter becomes dependent on it. So maybe that's the other thing. But uh go to and rebalancer, using that twice a day for 3 weeks to a month, that can be really, really helpful for anal glands as well.
Amazing. Thanks, Julie. Another anonymous question. Anonymous attendee, I would like to know more about acid reflux in dogs, as well as dogs who release their anal glands when sleeping, or relax.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, acid reflux can be many, 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 many things. It can be anything from just not the proper digestive enzymes in their food, and their body doesn't digest their food properly, so they get a reflux. It can be the way they eat, it can be the way they stand, it can be the way their bowl is, it can be also if they're gulping and they're not swallowing properly. But a lot of times, acid reflux can happen from something called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And then what can happen with that is that the bacteria builds up in their small intestine and then seeps up through their esophagus. So I would say that my experience and my practice is, I would definitely be supporting all of the organs that detoxify, so like liver tonic, things like that. But the the sometimes digestive enzymes, like our healthy gut digestive enzyme, that's really, really can be really, really helpful with acid reflux. But if it's SIBO, one of our best products that we have for something like that is our soil and sea probiotic. And that's because the soil probiotics are specifically for the small intestine. They're geared toward the small intestine and not the large intestine. So that can be a very, very helpful thing as well. Um, Using homeopathic remedies like your go-to for pain, CBD oil, after they eat to sort of relax that sphincter. But what's really interesting when I read this question is that the esophagus has like a sphincter, right? It has an opening, and so does the anal glands. So the reflux, if if your dog is like letting its anal glands go when it's sleeping and relaxed, to me that says the anal gland sphincter is a little relaxed, a little more relaxed than it probably should be. So that could be why your dog also has reflux, is because of the um it's just not as toned as it should be. So sometimes with that, it can mean that your dog's not getting enough protein. It can mean that if it was spayed and neutered, that the sphincters are becoming relaxed because it doesn't have enough sex hormones. It can mean that it doesn't have enough collagen in its diet because that's really helpful with sphincters and toning muscle. Uh, so I would try the digestive enzymes, and those homeopathics that I talked about, along with maybe soil and sea, the soil and sea probiotic. But I don't know what the dog eats at all. But maybe looking at, talking to Sarah Griffith, if Emily wants to put that in the chat, that's the canine nutritionist that we recommend. Uh, Maybe looking at a diet change to make sure that the protein is being absorbed properly. So, yeah, we've had lots of success of people saying that healthy guts really helped with acid reflux, and lots of people saying that soil and sea has really helped with acid reflux, but also using that mind plate, that can really help just by the way they eat, being flat, getting them to maybe lie down as well. But it's just really interesting that that he's got acid reflux and the anal glands when sleeping. So I would be focusing on collagen support, feeding them collagen, making sure that they're eating enough protein and collagen rich foods. That would be something that I would be looking at for sure.
Amazing, thank you. Kim is asking, hi, how do I get my cat with stage 2 kidney disease to stop being bricks? He's on raw, easy peasy chew, liver tonic, and the probiotics.
How do I get my cat in stage two to stop peeing bricks?
What does it means like peeing bricks? How
I
does it
don't know.
look? I
Uh,
thought it was a thing, like, oh, he's peeing bricks.
Maybe she can put that in too. Is Kim there? Vol.
Volume.
So peeing a lot.
Okay, a lot, yes.
Well, if he's peeing a lot, it's just meaning that his kidneys aren't functioning properly. They're not, that his urine is too dilute. So the big thing, you don't want to stop him from peeing a lot. You want to try and support his kidneys more so that that if the volume slows down, it's because his kidneys are functioning better. So, you have to make sure that he drinks lots of water. I get what you're saying, but easy peasy protocol is really good. Liver tonic is really good. Probiotics are really good. But we just did a kidney, Emily, maybe you could put this in the chat. We just did a kidney lecture a few months ago, right? And maybe
Yes, the last one.
yeah, is there a way that Kim can get her hands on the lecture that I did, Emily? Um, because Kim, I went through what homeopathic remedies and stuff with kidney failure and what stages and which ones to give and support. So definitely look in the chat and speak to Emily in the chat, and she'll let you know how to go and watch that so that you can get super, super um uh you know really, really strong guidelines on how to support the kidneys in what stages.
Amazing. Thank you. Let me see here. Cindy is asking, I have a Bernie Doodle with gastrointestinal issues. She's on RX food. What is like raw food or something? RX food,
No, like a yeah,
a
RX.
brand or
It's a vet. It's a vet formulated
oh,
food.
okay. And we give her a probiotic too. Her poop is rarely normal. Any thoughts or suggestions?
Um, yeah, I mean, anything that would come into my clinic with major gut issues, we transitioned on to raw food, uh, but from cooked. So starting with cooked and moving into raw. I would GI issues. The first thing I think is liver tonic, gut soothe, and then if you're in the US, positive immunity would be really good. There's been studies on positive immunity with IBD. There's been studies on phytosynergy with IBD. There's been a lot of studies on gut health and IBD, period. So gut soothe would be really, I don't know what the GI issues are other than it's rarely normal, her poop. So I would start on that. I would definitely talk to a canine nutritionist, like maybe Sarah Griffith. It was in the chat, and look at transitioning your dog into a really, really species specific uh, diet. That would be something that I would do right away. But while you're transitioning, I would get this puppy on gut soothe, liver tonic, positive immunity, and phytosynergy. Those would be the four things that I would get her on. And hopefully be able to have some support to get her on a different diet.
Amazing. There's another huge question here. It's divided in three from Amber. Hello, my 7-year-old lab golden retriever cross pup has a lymphoma on his right armpit, about 2 inches in diameter, which is about double what it was about a year ago when I first discovered it. I had it checked when we went to vet in August, and she said not to worry about it. That is common with his breed and age. However, I disagree, especially now that he has grown and a new one developed on the top of his neck this year in August. He has been a raw fed dog since he was 1. He had a vaccine reaction when he was a puppy, and I didn't vaccinate him again until I needed to kennel him in 2021. They wanted to charge 300 for a rabies titer, so I gave him a rabies shot. Unfortunately, he had a bad skin and thyroid reaction a month later, which we have since resolved. He's definitely a dog who has warm, hot, energetics. And so I was looking at incorporating more cooling foods into his diet. I have also read that I should maybe stop incorporating pork and duck for now. I have him on Adorbee's Potency, liver tonic, and turkey tail. I alter probiotics often and have just started incorporating a little bit of the healthy gut digestive enzymes into each meal as well. I have ordered a few of the herbs that Rita Hogan has talked about, helping through various podcasts and a PDF that she has shared with viewers. I'm also going to look into trying my best um, DIY lymphatic massage on him at home. So all of that, this being said, I was wondering if there's anything you could recommend. Anything else, I would say, because she's doing so much already.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look up at her other one for a second. Bup, 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 bup.
It's right below the
He
rest of the
shot.
thing.
Unfortunately, he had a bad skin, blah, blah, blah. He definitely a dog who's hot. So what did she say she's got him on? Uh,
Um, potency, liver tonic, and turkey tail. And probiotics often, she alters probiotics often and have just started incorporating a little bit of the healthy gut digestive enzymes.
mhm. So what I would incorporate in that would be if she's rotating the probiotics, that's good. But I would do positive immunity again to try and detoxify the dog as much as possible. And even if it was back in 2021, I would give this dog rebalancer. I would go back and I would put him on the rebalancer and work right now with that rabies vaccinosis because I would get animals into my clinic that you know were vaccinated 10 years prior and we would try to do things or they'd been trying to do things and nothing was really working. And until I cleared that vaccinosis, nothing really stuck. Nothing, it didn't continue to move forward until we cleared that. So, Amber, I would 100% recommend putting him on rebalancer and doing it twice a day for even up to a month. And then also incorporating some positive immunity. That would be something that I would look at as well. There's a homeopathic remedy called phosphorus that I used a few times with well, more than a few times, quite a few times with lipomas at my clinic. But it's more like when you think about lipomas and you think about it's like it's like fat accumulation that the body all of a sudden doesn't know how to filter the fat through. So bringing when something's toxic, then often that can happen, especially in that breed. So that would be the thing that those would be the things that I would be trying now and do and also, follow what Rita's recommending.
Amazing. Thanks, Julie. What would you recommend to boost the immune system of kittens who were exposed to and had calicivirus? I don't know how to.
Calicivirus, yeah.
Calicivirus.
Yeah. Where is that? Who is that?
Anonymous attendee again.
Oh, right here, to boost the immune system of kittens who were exposed to and had calicivirus. Okay, well that's a good
What is
question.
a calicivirus? I never heard about it.
Calicivirus is a virus that cats get.
Okay. Hmm.
So it's often upper respiratory, it can affect the gums and it can give them it's often with herpes, right? A herpes
Oh,
virus.
okay.
It's very upper respiratory. So that's I shouldn't say that's easy. Raw food diet, really, really good species oriented raw food diet. Our Felix flora for sure. Probably the positive immunity and phytosynergy. Those would be the ones that I would do to support the immune system for sure.
Amazing. That was fast. Fast answer.
Fast and I was the primary vet hospital for a really big cat rescue called
hmm
Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue, VOCRA. We would see close to 2,000 cats a year and saw lots of calicivirus, saw lots of, herpes virus, saw lots of very sick cats, lots of very sick kittens that didn't have mamas that were abandoned, or the mothers were taken away, or the kittens were thrown in dumpsters, and so lots of sick cats. So
hmm
those would be like my go-tos to not just that boost the immune system, but support the immunoglobulins, like with positive immunity, right? It support
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
to be paying attention to what causes something to be more susceptible to those viruses, right? So why does one cat get Calicivirus and the other one doesn't, and one's been vaccinated and another one hasn't, or no, neither one have been vaccinated, or they've both been vaccinated? What makes that animal, just like a person or a dog, what makes that being susceptible to that virus, right? So
mm-hmm.
susceptibility comes from, things going into the bloodstream that shouldn't be, heightened inflammatory response, not enough bacteria in the gut, stress levels, all kinds of stuff. So, using something like positive immunity to go in and decrease pro-inflammatory cytokines, get all those toxins out of the system, and viral too, right? Remember we were learning about that, is like the IgG binds to
Mm-hmm.
toxins, viruses, things like that. So just not necessarily boosting the immune system, but bringing the immune system into a place where it understands exactly what it needs to attack and what it shouldn't be attacking. So those products actually do that. So that would be
Amazing,
a suggestion.
amazing. Jillian is asking here, I have a 14-year-old Jack Russell with congestive heart failure. He is on vet medicine daily 2 times a day. What supplements would be most beneficial for him?
Well, I love potency, especially for heart stuff because of the the strong DHA and EPAs in it. But DHA is really, really good too for the heart. So it's got a really good balance. So potency would be one that I would be thinking about. Coenzyme Q10 is a really good heart support. Feeding your dog heart. So feeding him raw heart is very, very good because it's got natural taurine, not too much, but the appropriate amount. Things with amino acids. So phytosynergy has amino acids. Amino acids are really important for the heart, making sure that he has enough muscle meat so that the heart stays strong. And I would say, and gut, right? If the gut's not healthy, it can't coordinate all what happens if any organ starts to fail, whether it's the heart, whether it's the kidneys, the pancreas, it doesn't really matter what it is. The gut will then take over should take over in a way where it is conducting which other organs and which other systems will support the heart the most. The body will try and step in to support whatever's failing. So you want to make sure that the gut is as healthy as it possibly can so that it can coordinate that, so that it can communicate to the rest of the body, to the rest of the system of what needs to function, like cleaning the liver, uh, lung support, kidney support. So the heart does many things, and one of it is its function is with blood. So you want to make sure that the kidneys can clean the blood and the lungs are functioning properly because they're all very closely related. So that's something that the gut can do. It can make sure that everybody's, stepping up to the plate and kind of semi over functioning for the heart. So you don't want to just focus on the heart, you want to focus on the entire body. Um, and and I think that, arnica, homeopathic arnica is for me my go-to when it comes to heart disease. And I mean, there's lots of real actual heart remedies. So, Andrea Ring would be someone that you could reach out to. But our go-to remedy, given that daily, it's almost like a little reminder of the heart and for trauma and for all kinds of all kinds of things. It's every single heart case that we had at my clinic was every one of them was on arnica, whether it was a didn't matter which stage of heart failure or which stage that or even what kind of heart disease it was, we would give arnica. So, yeah, making sure that the heart's okay. Phytosynergy is really good because of the amino acids. Potency is really good because of the EPA and DHA. Coenzyme Q10 is really good. And just liver tonic, right? Liver tonic, making sure that the liver is as clean as possible, the kidneys are as clean as possible, so that that blood stays as healthy as it can stay.
Wonderful, amazing. Luana is asking here for pet allergies, which should be used? Positive immunity, or allergy bundle, or leak gut protocol?
Right. They all do different things. It more I like to focus on, okay, what is the allergy, like what are the symptoms of the allergy? What is affecting the most? So positive immunity can go with the allergy bundle and it can go with the leaky gut protocol. We haven't done that because we feel so bad about everybody in Canada that really wants to have positive immunity that can't. But positive immunity is a really great addition to the leaky gut protocol or anything to do with allergies, because while the leaky gut protocol or the things that are in the allergy bundle is focused on healing the gut lining, closing off the mucosal junctions, um, bringing back to balance the inflammation in the gut lining, what positive immunity does quite quickly is it helps to remove the toxins that leak through into the bloodstream through the intestine that causes the allergies. So it kind of decreases the sensitivity and the reactivity very quickly while the gut is actually healing.
Amazing explanation. Thank you, Julie. Tammy is asking here, how long should I use positive immunity for the CKD dog? She has finished a jar and I gave with liver tonic.
That's good. Um, it depends on how bad the CKD is. I I feel like positive immunity could be one of those things that are sort of a main thing in an animal's diet or in our diet. And the reason is because we are living in a world where we're bombarded with toxins every day. So whether they're chemicals from sprays, whether they're chemicals on our food, whether they're environmental pollution in the air, whether they're mold in our house, like we are very, very much um uh in a soup of, things that can be quite toxic to us and to our pets. So positive immunity is something for me that I think is a strong prevention. And if the dog does have CKD, I wouldn't be worried about giving that long term, really long term, along with liver tonic for sure. And hopefully you're giving a probiotic as well for this, because that's very important. And if you're wondering what probiotic to give, I would rotate through all of them. That's what I would do. And super easy to rotate. Just has been for, is that the same person? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that she was saying,
For
yeah,
years. I'm
it's a
wrong for
stage 2 for CKB. I
I do
think.
rotate all of them. That's great. That's good. And liver tonic, you can increase it. You can give double the amount of liver tonic to support the kidneys. And yes, definitely positive immunity can she can just stay on it. It's not going to hurt for her to be on it.
Thanks. Susie saying, Gordy, 9-year-old Border Collie Golden Retriever is suffering from raw skin. It's from raw skin. It's very pink for fur loss, extremely itchy. Happens in the summer, fall, raw diet, fall, sorry, summer, fall, raw diet, liver tonic, Yeast probiotic, wolf probiotic, and humic fulvic acid.
Hmm. Um, just quickly, she need to be on the leaky gut protocol?
Oh
Tammy
yeah,
asked.
so
Uh, she doesn't have to be, but it never hurts. It never hurts to rotate to do one protocol of leaky gut. Uh, most animals have leaky gut. Most people have leaky gut. It's very common. So don't worry about it hurting her because it won't. It'll be fine. Um, so Andrea,
no,
this
Sue's
oh,
Sue's here.
okay, sorry.
Gordy, yeah.
Yeah. So the summer fall thing, that's very environmental then, right? Like it's probably um pollens, and in the fall probably leaf mold and all different kinds of different kinds of pollens and stuff. So again, I'm not pushing positive immunity, but I mean it's well, the reason that we launched it is because it fills the gap of a lot of things. So I would start her on positive immunity, Susie, for sure. And the
She
next,
lives in Canada,
oh
and
God,
she said that it's worse after being at
it's
cottage.
cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like lots of, pine saps and all kinds of stuff like that. She lives in Canada. Uh, hmm. Well, why don't for loss, okay, what Susie, why don't you do our relief protocol? That's what I would do. She's been on Yeast Beast and liver tonic. She doesn't look like she's done the leaky gut protocol. I would put her on the relief protocol. That's what I would do. Wolf probiotics and humic and fulvic acid. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you've done the leaky gut. Okay. But have you done the relief protocol, which is uh have you done the relief protocol? Because that's, remember we talked about when they're heightened in a heightened state, that sometimes just doing some like doing one thing, there's too much repetition in that one thing. It's like they need something for 2 weeks and then they need a break of a detoxification, then they can go back on something for 2 weeks and then they need another like a detoxification, kind of balancing it out. The relief protocol really really does work well. That's why we developed it. So I definitely would try putting her on the relief protocol. I also feel like telling you to write to Health Canada. So let's get
I was going to say something like that. Please,
yeah,
Health
really.
Canada, listen to this people.
So that's what I would try.
Amazing, thanks, Julie. Andrea now is asking, what is the best route of action for skin allergies? Red dots on skin, belly, chest. Um,
Very
they are
itchy.
itchy. I have the new colostrum product, uh, alternative colostrum. I'm doing the liver tonic, raw fat, gut soothe, both mushroom tinctures and phyto synergy, etc.
Red dots on her skin, belly, and chest. They're very itchy. I would do the skin mask that we have. They can put it in the chat for you. It's also on our website. So that almost sounds like like tiny little hives or a really strong histamine reaction. You could potentially do liver tonic more. You could do the liver tonic 3 times a day instead of just once. You're doing the positive immunity. That's good. Gut soothe, both mushroom phytosin. You could also rotate the gut soothe. So do gut soothe and then maybe do the wolf and then maybe do phytophthora, like rotate the probiotics so that you're getting as many diverse strains in there as you possibly can. If you can, I don't know if you're in the US or where you are, but if you can order a homeopathic remedy called histaminum, and you would just buy a 30C histaminum. I don't know if my thing's working here. It's not, I don't think it is. Hist Histaminum. I think that's how you spell it. Histaminum. No, histaminum.
Andrea is in the US.
Histaminum. I think that's how you spell it. It's pretty close to that. 30C. And um you can get that from it's called Homeopathy Overnight. That's a really good homeopathic pharmacy. And give that along with our go-to remedy. Um, Histamine. Thank you, Emily. uh, and give that to your dog twice a day for maybe, I don't know, maybe a week and see if that helps to decrease the histamine response. So it's almost like a homeopathic um antihistamine, like that you would buy at the drugstore, but it's homeopathic and it works really well. Apis might work too, a homeopathic remedy called Apis. But I'm talking about Rebalancer and Go To a lot today. If you can't get either one of those, you can try the uh Rebalancer and Go To, mix them together and do them 2 to 3 times a day for a couple of weeks, and you can see if that helps as well.
Amazing. Robin is asking, hi, ladies. Thanks in advance. Thank you for being here, Robin. My adopt German Shepherd mix has cauliflower ears because her first family didn't have her ear hematomas medically treated. She is prone to ear infections. Does this deformation negatively impact her hearing? Any suggestions on how to treat the infections would be greatly appreciated.
Flower ears, yeah, that's so. The big thing with those is getting the swelling down, because often it closes the ear canal. And as you know, if you've seen anything that's wet that doesn't have oxygen, it gets really bad. So, it gets nice. It's a perfect storm for yeast and bacteria and infection in that dark dungeon in their ear. So, I would, Robin, honestly, I would really suggest that you call my colleague Andrea Ring, because she could create a homeopathic combination that will help to bring down that swelling of the ear canal, at the same time help to try and force the guck out from inside her ear. It can affect their hearing, yeah. If the ear canal fills up constantly with guck, it'd be like you having water in your ears. It is difficult. It is more difficult for them to hear. I know that the growths can be removed surgically, but it's a big surgery. It's not always effective. So yeah, see, Karen said I use silica and it really helped. So that's why I was saying go to, and with everybody else, go to and rebalancer, because rebalancer has silica in it. It also has thuya in it, which is for growths. So rebalancer is a really incredible little combination remedy. Silica helps to promote things to be, uh, to come out, like slivers and, guck in the ear, abscesses, things like that. But thuya is very good for growths, and it's really good for growths that look like cauliflowers, like literally, like that's what the growths kind of look like. And it's also really good for damp situations. So if you did rebalancer in your go-to and did them 3 times a day for 5 days, and then twice a day for 2 to 3 weeks after that, you actually might notice a difference. And then you could also, she has no growths and no swelling, and swelling has reduced. So when you say cauliflower ear, is it just on her ear flap? Is that where you're saying that it has? Robin, does she just have lumps and thickened? Her ears are not erect. Okay. So she doesn't have like the actual cauliflower lumps and things like that in her ears. It's actually just from the hematomas on her ear flaps. So that's good. That's good news. So yes, there's lots you can do then. There's a really good, but she's getting chronic ear infections, right? Yes. Okay. So chronic ear infections, there's lots you can do. Gut health is like massively important. So that the body is producing the correct bacteria to decrease pathogenic bacteria throughout the entire body. Um, but also there's a product called Zymox. It's really good, but I talk about it lots on this. If you can buy it on Amazon, just make sure that you don't get the one that has steroids in it. So it's the Zymox enzyme. So not the cleaners, not all that kind of stuff, just Zymox enzyme. Or Judy Morgan also sells it. It's incredible. It's like a miracle thing for gross ears. And then I still would use those two remedies that I just talked to you about. So using Zymox, go-to, which takes down the inflammation, takes down the pain, allows the ear to really breathe, even if her ears are flopped over, allows the ear canals to breathe, and then the silica helps to push that infection out. So to bring it out. And again, it never hurts to treat something constitutionally or go to Andrea and talk to her. But I'd be looking at diet, making sure that she's on a really good species specific diet, balanced diet. And gut health is very, very, very important in that.
Okay, great. Thanks. We're going to our final questions. Beth is asking here, hi, my 13 and a half border terrier had all teeth but bottom canines. She is fed raw, use jump for joints, alternate gut soothe and healthy gut, has had high liver values in past, use liver tonic every day, use green juju, green blends goat milk, and CBD tinctures, started powered lion's mane about 2 months ago. She seems to be getting some cognitive issues and lost 2 pounds. Need suggestions to help her maintain weight. Thanks.
So 13 had all teeth but bottom. I wonder if all of them were removed except for her bottom canines. I wonder if that's what she removed. Yes. Okay. Um, so, I don't know. What does it say? She's fed raw. I'm wondering if her raw food is really, 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 really ground, like really, really soft and ground. It's Steve's. Okay. I don't know if you have a blender, but this is a problem that old people have. This is a problem that old animals have. Whoa, where'd you go? A problem that old animals have. If the body can't really chew its food, and they're swallowing their food without it being really, really masticated. They can sometimes have some issues with uh, digesting their food, making it, small enough that they're absorbing all their nutrients. And So you could really make sure that it's really, really, really well ground. You could use our healthy gut, which has a digestive enzyme in it to try and get her to make sure that she's really absorbing all of her nutrients properly. I would also, so she's lost 2 pounds and having cognitive. Yeah. Um, she's on alternate gut soothe and healthy gut. I would start giving her phytosynergy. She's on liver tonic. Did she say jump for joints? Yeah, no. Liver tonic, yeah, good. So I would add phytosynergy because it's incredibly good for bioavailability and getting the really important nutrients, micronutrients, and amino acids in her body. So I would start her on phytosynergy because it's more of a food. I would also lion's mane's really good for cognitive, but something I'm feeling like high liver values and is she drinking a lot of water or pacing a lot or panting a lot? Is she extra hungry? Any of those signs? Is she hungry? Extra hungry? Is she panting?
A
Drinking
bit
more
more
water,
water,
extra
extra hungry,
hungry, panting.
panting.
Have they checked her for Cushing's? No.
No.
Lost 2 pounds. That's a lot in cognitive stuff. I wonder, did they check her blood pressure? No. Hmm. Sometimes they can get cognitive disorder from high blood pressure, and high liver enzymes are point to Cushing's disease. And pacing, cognitive disorders, drinking extra water, and being starving are all very, very strong symptoms of Cushing's disease. So I wouldn't run out and do on a 13 and a half year old dog. I wouldn't run out and do like an ACTH stim test or a low Dex, which is how they really do. You know what I would do? I know I'm giving out Andrea's name a lot here, but I would call Andrea Ring or reach out to Andrea Ring, and I'm actually going to give her a text. If you want to, let our customer service know that you are going to reach out to her, and I'm going to send her a text with your name and say make sure that she pays attention if you send her something, because it would be a shame to just think that she's getting cognitive function because she's 13 when she's got all of these other symptoms of potentially having Cushing's. And we use a Cushing's protocol in our practice, a homeopathic one that I think I've told this story tons of times, but like I don't know, more than 1,000 Cushing's cases that we've done, that we worked with. They were all incredibly, they did so well on this protocol. All of them put two. And the two, one of them was a really rare type of Cushing's. And the other one, the dog was 14 and a half, and they vaccinated it just to come over the border to see me and for rabies, and he died 4 days later. So it is phenomenal for Cushing's, and you don't have to have a diagnosis. Just those symptoms alone would be enough for us to use that protocol and see how your dog does. And sometimes just find her standing at the gate staring. That can be high blood pressure, right? And I wouldn't really be thinking that, but high ALT is a massive sign of Cushing's. Panting, pacing, and starving are all are all that. I can't say what the Cushing's protocol is. It's a homeopathic protocol that we put together at my clinic. And Naomi, when are you going to Windsor, please? Oh, sorry. And her
She
last name,
said, yeah, I was
still,
going to.
yeah, it's still high, but that's probably because you're giving her liver tonic. It's lower, but it's still high. But she's got all, it's called the three-legged stool kind of. It's like she's got all the symptoms that I wouldn't necessarily put her, like I wouldn't do the test on her just because the drug is really hardcore. Like the Cushing's drug is very hardcore on them. And the diagnostics itself, the only thing you could do, Beth, is you could catch a morning sample of pee from your dog. It doesn't have to be sterile, but it has to be the very first one in the morning, and she has to be completely not stressed. So you could never get this urine at a vet clinic because your dog would be too stressed. But you would call the vets, tell them that you want to bring your dog's urine in to have a cortisol, a resting cortisol, or they could do a resting cortisol blood thing, but a lot of clinics don't do that and really don't even know how to read them properly. But you can check their urine creatinine cortisol ratio in their urine. So it's called urine creatinine cortisol ratio. And you do it first thing in the morning when your dog's not stressed and take it in and that would be one more thing that you could try with your dog that would could also check that off. But just telling me what she has right now, putting her on the Cushing, the homeopathic Cushing's, and I'm not allowed to tell you because I'm not at my practice and blah blah blah. So you could reach out to Andrea. Andrea could do the Cushing's protocol with you, and you could see how she does. And what I would be noticing right away is not so hungry, good energy, not losing weight, less cognitive dysfunction, not so starving, drinking less, peeing less. So you'll start to see like all her symptoms sort of slowly, slowly, slowly reduce if it is Cushing's. She's urinating more. Yeah, that's why I said peeing less too. She really sounds like she's got, I mean, I can't say that, but she's got many, many, many symptoms of Cushing's. Many. And it would be really sad if she continued to, and they get high blood pressure with Cushing's, which can look like senior canine geriatric cognitive disease. High blood pressure can make them look like that. Really spacey, kind of not know what they're doing. So that's what I would do. It's a lot, but that's what I would do. It's really not a
Just
lot.
that.
It's really not a lot. Like you don't even have to do the urine test if you don't want. Just contact Andrea and start her on it. It's not going to hurt. And the reason it's so cool why it won't hurt is because the Cushing's protocol, she had Cox in her urine treated with Clavamox a month ago. So you have to make sure that she's on a good protocols of probiotics for sure. In fact, I would probably give her the easy peasy protocol if she had that for I would probably do that. But I don't think I'd even do the urine test. I would just call Andrea. I would just start her on that and it won't hurt her because those remedies, what's so cool about this is those remedies address all of her symptoms. So it won't matter whether she's labeled with Cushing's or not. It addresses cognitive disorder. It addresses high liver enzymes. It addresses PUPD, so increased urination, excessive appetite, right? That's why it helps Cushing so much because it gets to the core reason of why your dog is producing all of these symptoms. And it's got no side effects, zero, and way, way less expensive than the Cushing's drug.
Mm. Thanks, Julie. I will dare say that that was our last question. Can I say that? Do you want to take a look in another one or?
Um, who was the next one? What other dental options might you recommend for 17-year-old Tibetan Terrier with sore gums? No tartar, huh? He's on one TDC, Dr. Judy's Dental Drops. That's good. TEF and Angela's CBD and ease. We are also using your new positive immunity. His mast cell cancer is much better. Awesome. That's awesome. Um, when 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 did his mast cell tumor get better? I'm just wondering if you can type that in if that is non if you're still there. So yes, I can. If he doesn't have tartar, but he's got sore gums, the homeopathic remedy will rebalancer, but or arnica and aconite again. So the two remedies that we sell are really good. But remedies that are really good for sore teeth are pepper sulf is really good, silica is really good, arnica is a really good. There's lots of homeopathics that you can do besides, a dental. Because if there's no tartar, why are they doing dentals?
Hmm.
Like what
Hmm.
really what are, what's um got better just in
And
the
just
last
last year.
awesome. Awesome. So obviously the dog has enough vital force that um the body is able to address these mast cell tumors, right? That's a really good thing. So what you have to remember is that if the body's focused on something like mast cell tumors, they may be less focused on things that aren't as life-threatening, like dental, like gum disease. But gum disease, things like coenzyme Q10, putting probiotics in their water, like adding some love bugs to their water, adding so that it's actually flushing their mouth, making sure that you're rotating probiotics as much as get their gut health as healthy as you possibly can, and pain relief, right? Anti-inflammatory, so positive immunity to get the inflammation down. Um, your go-to aconite and arnica is incredible for reducing inflammation. You could even put that in their water sometimes, so when they're drinking it, they're also getting it on their gums. Pepper sulf, like I said, go and get a 30C pepper sulf at any health food store. You can buy pepper sulf at any health food store. Give it to him, 2 to 3 times a day for 4 to 5 days, and then look at his gums. See if it's any less swollen. You can buy silica at a health food store, 30C silica at a health food store. You could also use the rebalancer. It's not going to hurt. So, and you can also use our go-to. So you could use just both of ours and try that, but also get the are you using potency? Are you using because essential fatty acids like omegas are really, really helpful for gum disease, and so is coenzyme Q10.
Yes, potency.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Okay.
I know that we still have some questions. I wouldn't say a lot, but we have some questions here. But as you guys can assume, like it's very late for me and Julie now. It's almost 10 p.m. For those who didn't get their answer today, as I said before, I was going to explain how we can still help you. Please, you can join our community on Facebook, the Adorbis Collective. You can post your question there, and we will be glad to help you. If we don't answer the question, the whole community, it's so big, and people are so nice there and so helpful that I guarantee you guys that someone there will help you. I want to thank everyone who joined us today, and of course, you, Julie, for your time and your wisdom. um, Yes.
But if someone doesn't have Facebook, I was just looking at a couple of the questions that
Okay.
100% our customer service can answer.
Yes.
Jennifer, if you don't have Facebook, get on to our customer service, like,
Yes.
and ask how does
Questions.
positive immunity interact with raw meat and bones. It's perfectly fine. It supports the immune function. You don't have to worry about that. Another one, will positive immunity help with allergies, lots of itching? Can you use it with soil and seed? Well, yes, you can. So, I mean, a lot of questions. Our customer service team is incredible and like amazing, amazing. So reach out to them. If they don't know the answers, it's kind of crazy that, how many years later that I've had this company and they still send them to me. If they can't answer them and there's a question that they just don't know how to answer, I wind up getting them. So,
Yes.
and then we wind up answering them. So, don't be shy and seriously reach out to our customer service.
Yes. They are really amazing.
They are amazing.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Julie. Thank you all for
You're
being here.
welcome.
I
Thank
wish
you,
you all
everybody.
I wish you all a great night, and don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can sign up on our website to get all the information about Adorbis, our promos, new blog postings, future and of course future Ask Julie Anything sessions. Thank you so much again. Have a
Thank you.
great have a great night and stay safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Sleep well, everyone. Bye.